This is one I finished a couple of years ago, finished restoring. 510 miles. It's done another 55 on top of that. It had done 99,945 or something. So it doesn't have much driving in 2 years anyway. So I'm going to take this out for a drive. Driving the old tribute car. I've got to get some more miles up on this car. But it's a beautiful winter's day, as I said before, and we have to give up now and go in the garage and take an engine out of a motorbike. I reckon that's what we need to do now. Beautiful, isn't it? Isn't it lovely day? It's winter. You wouldn't think it's winter, would you? It's cold out there though. Come 3 o'clock, it's going to be freezing. It feels really powerful now, but with the extra fuel, I think it's going to be a ball terror. It's going to be really good. And it's only a Windsor, you know, it's only a sort of a small block 351, but it's pretty good. Welcome to the 5th chapter on the CB750 build, and you'll see here I've got my lovely $20 compression tester off eBay. And you'll also notice that it's leaning on the engine from the bike. I've had to pull it out and stick it on the bench, and the reason for that is because it's a little bit knackered. Well, I don't know if it's a little bit knackered, I think it might be a bit. So we're not going to, things have changed a bit, we're not going to be doing a bit of a recommission now, which is what I hoped. This looks like it's going to be a full restoration. Now, I'm not really sure where to go, whether to do a top-end rebuild or actually split the case and go into all that sort of stuff. I sort of mentioned that at the end too, because I've just shot that bit there. But this was like pulling teeth. I've got a lot of respect for old school bike mechanics, because I'm telling you now, I'm an old school car mechanic, and I can whip engines in and out of cars in no time. It's easy for me. I do it by myself. I never scratch anything. Easy gig. Big V8 engines with transmissions on them and everything. This thing was hard. I didn't know what I was in for. The 900 I had a removable bit of frame. That was pretty easy. This thing sucked. So probably did it the wrong way. You'll see all that in this video, and hope you enjoy. And let us hope for the best. No compression. The light's bad. I haven't got my thing with me. And I'm getting oil pressure now. This is a real bummer, but the exhaust, see if I just operate the Kickstarter, you can hear them leak. And the other thing that sort of strikes me as unusual, it's got the original frame. I can't find an endless link on it, or I can't find a link in it, it's endless. The rear tire's absolutely bald, and I wonder, this thing, of course, being last registered in 1988 in Wisconsin, has this been used after it sort of quit its time on the road? Has it been used as a bit of a burnout machine for the boys when they're having a few beers on a Sunday afternoon? Well, I started pulling things apart. I've got the bare bars there so I can steer the bike. Is that zoomed out? Yeah. Just pulling all the wiring apart. I've labelled everything through letters of the alphabet. Never put these together, or at least I've never put them together without reading the schematic as well, so you fully understand what goes where. This is Honda, it's Japanese, and they're always thought out really, really well, so you don't normally see issues with colour coding, that sort of stuff. So interesting, we've got the factory paint seal there, or at least that's what it looks like on this brace where the Honda garnish was. That's got to come off. So slowly but surely we're getting there. Well, we've just made a start. This is what I love about the Japanese. Here are the three regulator wires, black, white and green. And you can see on the side of the reg, there's a transfer, black, white and green. This is what I love about the Japanese. They're brilliant like this. If you worked on Jags like I have in the past, then you soon figure out that some people are just really horrible with electrics. But the Japanese are an absolute pleasure. I mean, I can think of a lot of things I'd sooner do than take this engine out, but this wiring gig so far is just a pleasure. Everything's marked, everything's one-only plugs, everything's colour-coded correctly. You can't go wrong. I mean, we'll see if that's correct when I go to put it back in and then figure out the bike catches fire or blows up, but I don't think so. I'm not worried about any of that. It's just so good. And you know, this is what I was saying about the Jags. I mean, I remember working at Whitehorse years and years ago, and then I went to work for Ford, and Ford lasers were most of 323s, and the wiring was clipped every bloody 3 inches, you know. Whereas the Jag stuff, that landed wherever it wanted. And you go and wriggle under the dash and you get a whole massive bullet terminals coming out from each other, can be disconnected from one another. And then, half of the wires are the same colour. So you're running around with a test light and a multimeter. I mean, this is just peachy. This is great. So, if this is the toughest thing, which it isn't, but I'm up against taking this engine out, it's a doddle. It's really easy. But I'm sure language will fly. I'm not sure. I'm not an experienced bike guy. I'm a car guy. And I keep saying that to remind myself and remind anyone seeing this that if I do something ludicrous, that would be the reason. Oh, look at that. More colour-coded wiring. Gee whiz. This is beautiful. Some of them I've labelled, just on the off chance, you know, things get a bit confusing. I'm just going to put one on their brake light area, or brake light switch, or something like that. Just so I know that it threads down that side, I'm going to put it on, because this loom, as basic as it might look, it could get confusing. So, just a safeguard. It's a beautiful looking kit. Still got its anodizing on and all. I'll replate these. These are non-structural, so I don't care about them. Anything structural, axles, fork, tube, or triple tree, hardware, that sort of thing, I'm not going to get plated because I don't want to run the risk of hydrogen embrittlement. It's just too dangerous on a bike. You don't get any second chance. It's in absolutely astounding condition. It's all original kit and it's clean. That's the thing with this bike. Everything is so clean. It's wonderful. Anyway, apparently they're not that good. And many people recommend ditching them and replacing them for far superior other stuff. But I want to take this carrier out. This is something I will get powder coated. There's a sharp bit on. I think I just poked myself in the thumb. There's a starter solenoid. It's all plugged up. See that? You don't have to worry about spade terminals, this sort of thing. It's so beautifully made. Absolutely lovely. There's a fuse box. I was never a big fan of Honda cars. I've always loved Honda bikes and sort of Toyota and Nissan in the Japanese cars. But it's like working on a Toyota, this. It's just basic. In the disassembly. I mean, let's just get that straight. I mean, right now, I'm probably going to make a huge fool of myself putting this together and not knowing what on earth to do. I can take that, there's a little emissions canister down there, which deals with crank and I think fuel tank vapours and sort of gets purged into the engine. So I'm going to pop that off. As far as battery acid leaking is concerned, I'll take this out and I'll show you. It's negligible. There's not been, I'll get to that, it's got a 10 mil. It's not been bad at all. I'll put, is it an AGM battery? A solid, a non-sulfuric acid type, a non-lead acid type. And they are a lot cleaner and don't leak and all this sort of stuff. So I'm going to go down that road. There we go. Okay. You would think this would be absolutely knackered. And look at it. A little bit of surface rust. Oh my goodness. That's it. So what I think we'll do with this is I can reuse these rubbers. They're still really, really pliable. I can squeeze them together, pop them out, get it media blasted and powder coated. And I reckon that will be absolutely brilliant. If it needs to be earthed through here in any spot, which I don't think it does, because I think it's independent, then I can arrange that, but that's all good. It's got this crankcase ventilator thing. Hoses are a bit stiff. It's like a chamber and it's got this sort of clear area here. It's meant to be clear. Sort of wraps around the swing arm and out. I think it's meant to have a cap on there. This is of minimal use, given that that's the crankcase there, that long one. This one here, I can't remember where I got it off, but it's all kinked up. So I don't know what, I mean, I guess I'll put it back on. I think I'm supposed, I'll put it back on. Just don't really want to. Still not going too badly on the disassembly. Kickstarter's off. I've taken the clutch cable off just by undoing these three screws. The cable just disconnects and falls out. The quality of the fittings, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. no doubt whatsoever the mileage is genuine. So just going to flick around the other side now, taking the gear shift off. Can we see it? I'm at a funny angle. Right, so our CB750 has now gone from a quick winter job, a recommission of sorts, to a full restoration. Now, I'm just popping these oil lines off. Now, I'm going to pop the engine out, and I'll also strip the bike down to a naked frame. And I've spoken to my media blasting guy, and I'm going to get it powder coated. Now, there's two sides of the camp there. Some people recommend not powder coating. I've already had a comment there. But I've also had one that says, yeah, powder coat it. So, look, whoa. So, I'm going to powder coat it. And, but I'm fussy about how it's done because I don't want the plate taking off, the compliance plate taking off the front. Because I don't want Vic Roads to have any reason to think that the bike's been meddled with, even though it is being. And, you know, it has to go through engineers and all sorts of stuff. So I'm just taking the oil lines off. And again, we're going to bag and tag with our sandwich bags, obviously, because we all know that we have to do that. And we should be good to go. So I'm going to get those lines out of the way. This one's going to leak quite a bit because it's full of oil. It's full of fresh oil too. But it's all good. You know, we have to look at this. And you know what? I don't know. I kind of knew that this was going to happen because it just had been out of action for so long, you know. So that's all right. We just do it the way we have to do it, and that's all there is to it. Now, I'm much more of an expert on cars and bikes, and I've been told I need to use JIS, Japanese Industry Standard screws, and screwdrivers on these. I've always had a habit of using a 15-16, well that's a 1-inch spanner, over a screwdriver, putting a lot of weight into it, and they come off, like that. Now, I don't really want to get a bolt kit. I want it to be original, so I want it to look good. So the only thing on this that I'm not going to restore, if I can get away with it, is the bottom end of the engine. Now, when we get this out, pop the head off. I'm expecting it to look absolutely terrible in there. Hopefully it doesn't need boring. If it does need boring, I'll hone it, put a new top end gasket set on, sort that out. I'll compression test it on the bench. But I really don't want to separate the cases. That's the only thing I really don't want to do. Now, the main seals, and I'm expecting those seals to be pretty dried out, given the length of time this thing's been out of action. But look, we'll just see how it goes. So, I'm not preempting anything. I'm just sort of, you know, trying to come up with some sort of plan of attack. So, yeah, look, I never planned to do a restoration on this, but I'm kind of happy about doing it. I was really toiling over what to do with the engine to make it look a bit better, if it was all right. And you know, it does look mucky. Someone's given it a Relican job. I did it on the oil filter, which looked terrible, so that could be hydroblasted the outside of it. I want to have it a bare aluminium sort of look. Around the cylinder head and the barrel fins. The casing itself I can paint and polish off the or polish up some of the fittings and fixtures on it. So it was such that I was planning to paint just the top of the frame underneath the tank and the seat, where it's got a little bit of surface rust on some of the welds where it's sort of worn off in places and that sort of thing. This way I'm going to have a bike, or at least I'm aiming to have a bike that looks like it's really well restored to sort of match. I'm very, very fortunate. There's some lovely cars in here. Need to finish some of them off. But I really want a nice, classic, clean bike. And so I've had all sorts of ideas what I wanted to do with this. I'm just going to paint it black, buff it till I can shave in it, get the right stickers for it. I just want it to look like a bone stock, really, really nice Survivor bike. It's not going to be show quality because I'm not painting it in 2-pack. I'm going to paint it in acrylic. If you're British, you would probably call that cellulose. We call it lacquer or acrylic. It's what pretty much every car here was painted in pre-1989, around there. And so maybe Honda painted these in baked enamel, I'm not sure, but at the end of the day it's not going to be 2-pack, I'm going to paint it here. And so this gives us a chance to sort of really step through the restoration. Because it's a small thing, it shouldn't take too long. It'll cost a little bit. We have to watch that because, you know, if you think about the cost of restoring it, it could sort of well be right up there in the dollars. Now, I intend to get the rear wheel rehooped and spoked. I don't like that rim. The hub's lovely, the front wheel's fine, the guard's fine. You know, there's all sorts of things I can reuse on it. But I do have to watch what I spend. So at the end of the day, including purchase price, if I go up to sort of $5,000, then its value might be, for example, $7,000. I don't know what these are worth. I know more about cars and bikes. But if there's a couple of $1,000s at the end of it when I'm finished to what it's worth, then that's worth it for me, because then if I sell it, the labour's free and I get some enjoyment out of it. And that's how I've sort of tackled all the cars I do as well. I don't lose money on cars. Popping this oil tank off. Might get some new lines for it. They look a bit mucky. It's difficult getting into these in the bike, this side. You can get it on the other side probably, but I think we'll just pop this out. I'm leaving them on for now. It was drained off, give it a good flush. I think I will get some new ones. That's just a breather. Peering in the tank, you can sort of see where each one goes. I don't think I want to use those. They're an old cotton braid, which these would be the original ones. You can see this one's been wearing through a bit there, and the ferrules are rusty. So I think we will pop some new lines on. But you can see sort of how quickly the thing starts to look quite bare. This gives us access to these lines at the back. There's obviously the crankcase ventilator, and that rubber's still supple. It's really, really good. So just popping this engine out does worry me a little bit. Well, today's the day we take the engine out of our bike, but before we can do that, we need to move a car, move a trailer, move this car. Plymouth can stay here. That can stay there. So we need to dig this out into the middle of the floor. Get it off choke. Right, I'll drive these cars. Last thing you should do is just leave cars on their own devices to sort of sit there. The best thing you can do is drive them.
Are you going?
Yeah.
Are you going?
Do you want to come?
Put the boat down.
I love coming out in the fine weather. It's winter at the moment, but we've got a beautiful fine day. And it's really nice coming out in the old cars and just going for a little bit of a drive. I like to take the family out, but quite often it's hard getting them out. We're all sort of grown up now, but I'll just come out for a little bit of a coast. I'm in a 40k an hour zone now, so I've got to go very slowly. And yeah, I'll take the XW out. Need to get that Plymouth finished off. I'm hanging to drive that thing. And of course the bike as well. The bike's going to be good fun. And of course the bike, I'm not a motorcyclist by any stretch, but a nice fine Sunday morning just around the local village would be nice. This car's particularly special to me. You know, anyone who's watched my videos will know that I just crap on about how we've had it from you. So it's probably my most precious vehicle. Even though in terms of monetary value it's not even a quarter of what the XW is worth. It's still a good car to have. Everyone used to call this the rolling turd because of the colour. But I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's called Nutmeg. I painted this, gosh, it needs another buff. It's kind of dull now, but I painted about 10 years ago. And it came out this sort of candy brown almost. It's got this sort of gold undertone, which the original Nutmeg didn't have, even though it looks very similar in not so full light. I think it's a beautiful car. I'll never ever sell that one. Right, so I've got this engine ready, almost ready to come out. Taken the sprocket off and the chain. Let's cut the chain. There was no sort of link on it. Got this thing all sort of unbolted. The oil filter's just hanging there to drain. And not really sure how I'm going to take this out. I'm going to give it a good go. Now, the rear sprocket looked alright. The front one looks good in that the teeth are nice and square at the top, but they are leaning over a little bit, which goes sort of hand in hand with my theory that, you know, not normal wear and tear. I think this has been a bit of a burnout machine. So, whoops. It could be any reason for that, but I'm tipping it was a burnout machine. But I think it's time to get it out. Just go around and take these bolts out that are holding the engine in. This is the one I undid before for the crush bar, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get off. I just don't want to damage anything. I've got the jack under there with some rags sort of protecting the fins. Oh, broken lock washer. Just move those out the way in case they inhibit the movement of the jack. And let's go to the other side. Now, the 750 engine has to come out through here. This triangulated bracket needs to come off, and there's also one that goes there that's come off. I don't know if you can see that in frame, but anyway. The ones on the other side are welded onto the frame. The 900 I did years ago, was it 15 years ago? You can sort of detach a piece of frame here, and it's just so much easier. These things are, oops, that's a 12. These things are a lot harder. Now, I've been thinking about doing a wooden type brace to go in here and tip the bike on its side. Some people recommend doing that. But, well, just take this off. But I don't know, I'm going to try and lift it first. And if that all goes belly up, well then I'll sort of leave it sitting in there and do it another way. So by my reckoning now, the engine's just sitting in. Oh, there's one over there. Yep, there's two more. There's one there, and there's one there. So I might take that one out. Whoa. Poke that through and that'll just fall out. So far, disassembly on this bike's been mad. It's been really, really easy. And look at the condition of these fasteners. I'm not cleaning that up or anything. That's how it's come out of the bike. Easy peasy so far. Right. That's loose. Another great fastener. This one's from underneath. You'd think that'd be all munted, but it's not. It's beautiful. Got a milk crate here. Not really sure the best way to get this out. It's fairly heavy. It's sort of sitting on a jack. I've got to straddle it. I'll barely reach the ground. What have we got? Oh, it is quite heavy. This must be why people drop on the ground. Back a little bit. Whoa, you come back. Well, that's a bit wobbly. That's probably better. Let's have a look at this. Okay. Not yet. Not quite there yet. I think. Oh, I can see what's happening. There's a welded thing there stopping it coming out. Not that much. Right, I'll try that. I might go and get my son to hold the bike. That's probably better. More sensible. The problem I had was this thing here, that sort of boss there was behind that steel bracket there, and it was sort of difficult to get past. I've got the bottom of the sump clearing now. I've taken the sump plug out, the drain plug, because it sort of hangs down below. And I think now I'm ready to sort of slide it out. We've got to lower it a little bit here because we've got the casing up here that's interfering with that bolt there, or that sort of part of the frame there I should say. So it can come down now, and I reckon then I might be able to slide it out. I won't be laughing if it drops. Oh. This is ludicrous. I'm wondering whether it might be better to just rope it onto an engine crane. First thing I'm going to do is just lift a bit, and then reassess. You just got the handlebars.
No.
I'm going through the rear. Charlie, I don't want to break those fins. I'm petrified of breaking those fins, but it should break loose, which it is. Alright. I'm worried about those fins. I might lower it again, because I reckon they'll break. I'm going to be editing some language out of this one. Am I on? Actually, the right. Hang on a minute. I just want to get it back through there. Around there. Just drop the ram just a tiny bit. Go on. Right.
I didn't know how.
No, that's all good. Hang on a minute. Right, so raise it a bit. Keep going for a moment. This is slipping. I reckon that's a win. Leave it there. Right. God, what a bloody job. Clearly I'm not going to put it in that way though. I think what we'll do is we'll just get the bike out of the way. Thanks, buddy. You can go. Bye-bye, Charlie. Right, so there's our engine. Albeit a mess on the floor. I think I might pop it up on the bench while I've got it sort of strung up there like that. But yep, we can start doing some work now. Right, my lovely, let's get you onto an operating table. Doesn't weigh anything compared to a big block Ford engine. Unconventional way of lifting up a motorbike engine, but I just can't be bothered doing it. Doing the hard yard or getting people to help me. I might get Charlie to help me lift it over and onto it, but if it falls down, we're screwed. Right, well, not really enough room here. But it'll give me some time to sort of figure out how I'm going to do it. See, I threaded this through the mount. Where's the shortest bit? Just so it wouldn't sort of... So I'm sure there are a lot of people who would cringe at the way I got that out. But you know what, it's all good. We got it out, we didn't damage anything. So that's a win as far as I'm concerned. So all we have to do, take the little hook thing off and flick it around, take the top end off. We'll be able to see as we pull bits and pieces off. Rebuilding it though, in two minds, I've just got to see what the bores are like. I'm thinking at this stage a top end rebuild only. So, redoing the head. If we can reuse the old valves, lap them in, all that sort of stuff. Check the bores out. I wouldn't mind putting new rings in while I've got this out. The thing that worries me though, I know it's got the gears and it rotated nicely and all the rest of it, but I don't know if there's any chipped teeth. And see, the moment you start separating the cases or splitting the case, you've got to look at bearings and all that sort of stuff, and I really do sort of want to look at those. So, given that it's been out of action for so long and the oil was absolutely destroyed, it's going to be full of impurities and maybe a bit acidic and all that sort of stuff. I just hope it doesn't damage the bearings. But it's one of those things that if I do the bearing, it's going to turn into a full overhaul. And I just don't know if I want to do that. So at this stage, I'm going to think about it. At this stage, I'm looking at a top end rebuild. We can get a full gasket kit, replace all the seals, because these will be dry. Remember, it hasn't been used for a long time. So all seals and gaskets, piston rings, valve job, look at the cam, maybe even put a slightly bigger grind in. If it's all to spec, I'll leave it, but if it's all chewed out and a little bit damaged or rounded or whatever, I'll get a regrind. You can get them XUS. So that is, I bent that. Oh look, I did. I damaged that. That's where the carburetor overflows go. I actually damaged that bit there. But I don't care. We're good. So we've got that out. In the next chapter, we're going to pull it to bits. And you know what? I'm kind of happy about that. I love pulling stuff to bits.